Well, in terms of how things have changed in legal services over the span of my 30-plus year career, I mean, there have been a lot of changes. I mentioned that when I started in the late 70s, that was a time of legal services expanding. There was a sense of activism and political commitment that brought a lot of people into the legal aid world. Since then, things have changed quite a bit. I mean, the federal corporation, there are now lots of restrictions on legal aids that do get federal funding from the Legal Services Corporation in terms of class action work, and there was a time when attorney's fees couldn't be sought, and restrictions on lobbying, and then budget cuts have been really devastating for a lot of programs that have had to reduce their staff and leaving a core group of very hardworking attorneys and paralegals who just have more people coming into their offices than they could possibly serve. And that's got to create a lot of pressure on local program staff. And there's been a shift away from some of the larger impact cases, which are extremely time consuming, so that programs can serve more people with just basic advice and basic information and not necessarily direct representation. And I have different feelings about that. I mean, we certainly want to make sure that people get good advice and information, but I hope that when a situation requires it, the people and legal aid directors are willing to give their staff the freedom and flexibility to take on some of the bigger issues. That has changed, just the atmosphere within legal aid programs, I'm sure. But still, we have Virginia programs that are full of very, very dedicated folks who are working hard every day to do as much as they possibly can. And we also in Virginia are fortunate to have a large group of attorneys and paralegals who have been doing this work for a long time. And with that experience and expertise comes just great representation of low-income people in Virginia. So I feel really proud to be a part of that community of people who want to do something that's really important for low-income people in this state and around the country. Because part of what we also do is collaborate with advocates in other states and work with national support centers that really do provide essential services to those of us doing work at the state level. So I do believe legal aid is here to stay. It's extremely important that people at all income levels have access to the courts and access to justice, access to quality representation. The Commonwealth of Virginia has supported legal aid through direct funding, which we're very grateful for, which is really important to keep the doors open and keep the programs afloat. I'm positive about the future of legal services.
And just to follow on, in terms of the personnel coming into the programs, have you had much interaction with the younger lawyers in these programs in Virginia?
I've had some, and people who do come to legal aid have to have a real enthusiasm and energy for this kind of work, because it's not easy. when you're working with low-income people, they may come in with one particular issue that's on their mind, but they're actually, because of their financial circumstances, really living in a situation that could be very stressful, which actually implicates lots of different legal issues that you may not be able to deal with them all. So it's hard work, because you're always dealing with people who have very serious problems, which look, when you're talking about healthcare or housing or food or just money to pay for utilities or clothing or whatever, you're talking about basic subsistence needs of a very low-income population. And so the representation that they get is really critical.
And I was wondering if you would speak just a little bit more about the ways in which the Virginia Poverty Law Center works to keep united the legal services across Virginia.
Yeah, well, in addition to working in our specialty areas with task forces and listservs, we do provide a lot of training throughout the state, including an annual conference where everybody comes together, and that's a fun time. It's a good time for a sense of community, learning, and fun. And in that way, we continue to touch the local programs and work with the staff. And I have lots of friends all around the state who are my friends because they're my legal aid colleagues.
All right. Well, thank you. If we finish here, is there anything else that you can think of to let the viewers know about yourself or Virginia Legal Aid?
Well, I just want to say thanks to everybody out there who has an interest in legal services, and a thank you to all of the folks out there who are doing the hard work every day out on the front lines. And you know, it's very satisfying work when we do succeed with our advocacy efforts. We're really making a difference in people's lives.
All right, well, thank you very much.